In this video, let's look at how to do forward elimination in Python. Forward elimination is the following method in which, given a matrix A, you would like to convert the lower portion or lower triangle into zeros. So you would like to put it in the upper echelon form. So we need to get these terms to become 0. So let's look at a 3x3 example and then we'll see how to make the code generic. Okay, so let's start by importing numpy np, and then let's create an A matrix np.array. And as you already know, a matrix is a 2D array, so you have to create it with using a list within a list. So the first list within the list will be the row. So let me say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then I'll also create a B array, and this one can be just one dimensional, so 10 11 12, something like that. Okay, so the objective here is to convert this number to 0, this number to 0, and then this number to 0. So let's see how we can do that, and then let's see how we can make the code generic so it can work for any n by n system. So what exactly are we doing here? We are doing row operations. So let's say our main row is R0. So R0 refers to the first row. Okay, I'll try to stick to the same index that Python uses. So the first row is going to be 0. This is row 1, and this is row 2. So you have to consider this to be your main row in the first case, and then you will do row operations on the rows below. Okay, so the first thing we would do is R1 equal to R1 minus some factor times R0, and then once we do that, we'll do R2 equal to R2 minus some factor times R0. Okay, and then you'll switch your main row to row 1, and then you'll do row operations on the row below it. Okay, so this will be R2 equal to R2 minus F some factor times row 1. Row 1 is your main row this time. Okay, so let's see how we can do this part. So first thing is you need to know how to index your matrix and arrays in Python. Okay, so if you would like to get the first row of A, it's as easy as giving it the index, just one index, and it'll return the first row. If you want the second row, it will be A1, sorry, and if you want the last row, it's going to be A minus 1. Okay, if you want a specific element, let's say I want to get this 4, this is row 1 and column 0. Okay, so I can just say row 1 comma column 0, and it'll give me that exact value. So as long as you know how to index your arrays, you should be okay for the next part. So to do this row operation, let's say R1 equal to R1 minus F of R2. Let's assume some value for F, and then we can say R1, so that's going to be A1 equal to A1 minus the factor times A0. Okay, so that's the row operation part. Now if you keep running this cell in Jupyter, it's going to keep on changing. It's going to apply the same equation again and again, and you'll get like different results. So the best thing is to have a copy of A reinitialized over here, just in case. You shouldn't do this in the if you're writing a function. Okay, just for this script example, I'm keeping it there. So now the results are consistent. Okay, so that's row operation number 1. Then you'll do another row operation. So the objective here is to convert this number to 0. So you can do that by just saying 4 divided by 1. So that's your factor, and it should make this 0. But again, you don't want to write these as numbers. You would like the program to take care of this. So instead of using the number directly, you have to refer to the position here so that it can fetch the value from there and compute the F by itself. So how do you refer to this position here? This is going to be A row 1 column 0. Okay, so this is going to be, instead of 4, you would say A row 1 column 0. Okay, and then this 1 is row 0 and column number 1. So this is going to be A row 0 and column 0 as well. Okay, so this seems to be working. Let's try to copy this code and do the second row operation, and this time this is the second row, so A2, and this is still the main row. Okay, so it's going to be 7 minus this row minus some factor times this row. So what should be the factor? It should be the 7 divided by 1. How do you refer to 7? It's going to be row 2. So row 2 and still column 0. Okay, and divided by A00. So that's correct. And yeah, that should be it. Let's see if this works. And there you go. So I got this to be 0 and this to be 0 as well. Okay, so you can keep going further. Now we'll change our main row. Change main row to R1. Okay, so in this case you'll apply the same exact formula, but you change to R1. Okay, so now you're dealing with this as your main row. So now we're trying to get this number to be 0. Okay, so how do we get this to be 0? What are the factors? Okay, the factor is going to be this number minus 6 divided by minus 3. So how do you refer to this one? It's going to be row 2. So this is row 2 and column number 1. This is column 1. Okay, and divided by this number, which is row 1 and column 1. So row 1, column 1. And the row operation is going to be R2 equal to R2 minus f of R1. So this is going to be A2 minus f of A1. So there you have it. This is now 0. Yeah, this one, just to avoid this from being 0 for this particular example, let's change it to some number, 14. Okay, so there you have it. You have the lower triangle converted all to 0. So this seems to be working. Now we have to know how to do this in a generic fashion. So just to make our life easier, let's give the main row index to is I. Let's call it I, and the row operations index is j. Let's say this is the case. Okay, so the first time what happened was I equal to 0. This is your main row is 0. Okay, and j equal to 1. Okay, and in the second case I was still 0, but j is now 2. Okay, and once that happened, you went to the next main row. So this time I is now 1. So you can see your main row is 1 and your row operation is being done on the row after that. So this is 2. Okay, so there are some patterns here. So one pattern is that I starts from 0 and goes all the way till 1. Okay, and j starts at j with is like a for loop within another for loop, and it starts at whatever value is I plus 1. So it's gonna start at I plus 1 and it goes all the way till the end of your matrix. So 2 in this case. Okay, so it goes all the way to 2. So let's see if we can come up with a loop that does the same thing. So for I in range starts at 0, ends at 1. So if you remember correctly, range doesn't include the last value, so we have to type in 2 over here and print I, and then I'll write another for loop inside this for the row operations for j in range. So the starting value is I plus 1, so I say I plus 1, and the end value is 2, so I have to say here 3. Okay, print j. So just to avoid the confusion here, let's put a tab over here. You can do that by doing a reverse /t. If you add this term, it will tab out the j values. Okay, so here it seems to be working in the same way that we predicted. We start at 0, j goes from 1 to 2, then we start at 1, and then j goes to 2. So this seems to be working, but we need to make this generic. Okay, so this should work for any system. So let's say n currently is 3. In that case, this value has to be n. This is 2, so n minus 1, and this is 3. This has to be n. Okay, so it works for a 3 by 3 matrix, but if you give it a 10 by 10 matrix, it should still work, and you can now see all the row operations that is being done. Okay, if you know the length of a, that will make this easier. So you can just say length of a. So it'll do a 3 by 3 operation here. Okay, great. Now going back to our equation here, we have to make this generic as well. We cannot sit and type these numbers here, so we have to convert that to the index, and we already kind of know what the index is, right? So we know that here this is I and j is 2, so this one was I, this is j, this is also j, And for the factor as well, we know that this is I, and this is j. Okay, so this is basically our generic script. So instead of writing this 5 or 10 times, you can just have one line like this that changes as I changes. So let's copy this and put it inside our script. Now the location is important. This is row operations, so it has to be placed here inside the second loop. And tab this, and let's look at A now. Okay, so you should get the same result as above. So let me just make sure that A is initialized properly. Okay, you should get the same result as above, and this should work for any size matrix. So let's, instead of doing a 3 by 3 matrix, let's use the following command to come up with a random matrix. np.random.randint. It'll come up with like a matrix with a lot of integers. So you can start, let's say, with the number 5 to 200, and the size of this matrix is, let's say, s comma s. Okay, and we'll define s to be, let's say, a 5 by 5 matrix. Okay, size equal to. Okay, so you can see it doesn't matter what the size of your matrix is, your forward elimination method is working, and you can see the lower portion of your matrix is now all zeros. Okay, and don't forget you also have a B matrix, so you have to add that as well to your operation. So we have a B matrix that needs to undergo the same kind of row operation. So let me put that here, replace it, and you should put it right over here. Okay, and the command is exactly the same. It's undergoing the same row operation. B of j minus f times b of I. Okay, now the b vector won't be zeros, but it will have some kind of different values. All right, that's it. Hope this helps. Thank you.